I wanted to start with the local forecast tonight. It has been a cloudy day. We started with all that rain this morning. Some areas of Charlotte ended up with 2 to 3 inches of rain across the northern sections of the county. That front is pushed through, and you can see from our Mr. Sparky camera network, we've actually cleared out the skies quite nicely across the area. Now, temperatures are running in the mid to upper 70s. First night of high school football for many locations across the Carolinas, and you're actually getting some really nice conditions. Typically, for the first week of college or high school football, I should say, we typically have lightning delays and really hot, humid weather. This year, we're not having that this week. Some big games going on in uptown Charlotte tonight as well, with temperatures running in the mid to upper 70s, close to 80 degrees in a couple spots. As the night goes on, those temperatures will continue to fall. Now, we do still have some clouds out there, but as I mentioned, the skies are clearing. All the rain is shifted to the south, and it's been a very active day in areas around Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to focus in on that area because we've had a ton of rain down in those areas and actually have produced some flash flooding in many locations in and around the Charleston area and the Low Country. Some areas have picked up 6 to 7 inches of rain just today. At one point, the airport was shut down because flooding had blocked the road, International Boulevard, which goes into the airport on the north side of town. But you can see the rain continuing to fall across the Low Country. That rain is going to continue probably for a couple more hours. And while the rates have subsided just a little bit down in that area, because of the heavy rain, we're likely going to see additional flooding going on through the evening hours. I'm going to try to focus, got to log back into the computer here. Got logged out as we were waiting. So as we're seeing that rain continue to push through the area tonight, that rain continues to push off to the south and east, but unfortunately, they're still starting to see a lot of heavy rain in and around the uptown area there, all the way to North Charlotte, you could see, or North Charleston, I should say, and then up towards Somerville. So these areas have seen anywhere from 6 to 7 inches of rain. So folks traveling down there for the weekend, you're going to run into a lot of flooded roadways and a lot of closures. At one point today, I think there was like 70 to 80 roads that were completely shut down in the afternoon hours. So it's been a wild day in parts of the Charleston area. Now, we're likely going to see a dry weekend for us locally, but some areas down in the Low Country could see that rain continue for a while. Our forecast, you see temperatures falling from the 70s. Eventually, we'll get back down into the low 70s by tomorrow morning, likely some upper 60s in a few spots. Most areas, though, are going to stay dry throughout the weekend as a secondary cold front is going to be approaching from the north and west. Now, that cold front coming in does a couple of things. It's going to clear things out, cool us down, but also keep the storms away. As you see the forecast tonight, upper 60s near 70 degrees for your Sunday. We'll see temperatures back, hopefully closer to the low 80s in some areas. So folks looking for more sunshine in the afternoon hours, that would be the time frame to see the much cooler, I should say warmer conditions compared to what we've had here recently. Take a look at the forecast for tomorrow for Clear the Shelters. I know a lot of folks will be heading to shelters tomorrow. This is a picture of my dog, Drum. We rescued him back in 2022. Again, it's been a great 3 years of ownership. This is our third rescue dog. We'd love to clear all the local shelters out. If you're looking for a place to adopt, go to WCNC.com. We have a list of all the shelters that are doing Clear the Shelters tomorrow. The great thing about doing this tomorrow, a lot of the fees will be waived, and it's a great event to try to rescue a lot of these dogs. These dogs are going to have some great homes to go to tomorrow. So please, if you are looking for a pet, could be a cat, could be a dog, even have bunnies, some other kind of wild animals. Sometimes you see pigs. We've seen rabbits at a lot of the shelters. Good time to go adopt tomorrow, starting in the morning all the way through 5 p.m. If you've got other plans tomorrow, temperatures will be back in the low 80s. Certainly a comfortable day. All in all, shouldn't be that hot compared to this time of year, I should say. Usually temperatures are closer to the upper 80s. Now, what's going on with Aaron? We talked about Aaron, it feels like, for about 3 weeks. Really, it was about 2 weeks. Aaron skirted the Outer Banks by about 225 miles was the closest approach. Caused some beach erosion, some rip currents, but thankfully stayed well offshore and now is moving quickly away as a post-tropical system. This will race off to the North Atlantic and then eventually move up into maybe the North Sea and become one of those big low-pressure systems that moves up there and causes all kinds of gale warnings for areas of the UK. We still have some rip current issues on the coast. Remember, the swells are still being generated. They're pretty large out there, so if you are going to be heading to the coast this weekend, you're definitely going to run into a lot of rip currents here, at least through the end of the weekend. I think by the time we get to next week, we should start to see some better conditions, more moderate rip currents. But again, anytime there's a tropical system anywhere out in the Atlantic, the swells that they generate can produce some significant rip currents. Now, the next question I get after we see a storm move through is there another one? Okay, right now there's 2 other tropical waves we're keeping an eye on. This one in the central Atlantic has about an 80 to 90% chance of development. But to be honest with you, even though that looks like it's got a good chance of development, it's going to follow Aaron. This is going to be another fish storm. So this is going to stay way offshore, even well east of Bermuda. Another wave down here, the chances have actually gone down a little bit, and this one's going to be suppressed, so staying well to the south. So this could skirt northern South America, I should say, and then move into Central America. If it holds together, there's some indications it might fall apart completely. These are the spaghetti plots going out 7 days. So you can see none of these are heading towards the lower 48 or the U.S. right now. So I think we're going to be safe for about 7 to 10 days, though you can't let your guard down this time of year between August 20th and October 20th. That is when we see about 2/3 of all storms develop in the Atlantic basin. We have a couple fronts moving through. One moved through already, that's to the south. The secondary front is going to arrive going into Sunday and Monday. So a couple warm days ahead of that front. Typically when a front comes in, you see the warm up just ahead of it, and we could see temperatures in the upper 80s for Sunday and Monday. But once the front clears, not only is drier air coming in, but noticeably cooler air. Look at the front right there. There it is on Sunday. That's the tropical moisture which has been hammering the low country of South Carolina. You kind of get the idea why they've seen so much rain today. That gets pushed off to the south. Here comes the cold front with drier air. That drier air filtering into the Carolinas. Not only is it cooler, but it'll be noticeably lower dew points. I think that'll be the biggest thing you notice. This time of year, a cool down is lower mid 80s. But with the dry air, the night times can get much cooler. We're talking mid to upper 50s possible. So a very refreshing start to the days going into next week. So dew points, you see, I'm going to put the future cast here on them through the weekend, generally in the 60s, but even on Saturday, some of that easterly flow could bring the dew points as low as the upper 50s to low 60s. That would feel great. That actually gives us some pretty comfortable conditions out there. And with that drier air filtering into the region, you'll start to see even drier air filtering on Sunday, but not until that cold front gets here on Monday does the bottom really drop out. 40s and 50s, and that's just the beginning of what is going to be a pretty dry period of time through next week. In fact, dew points on Saturday, maybe 64, a little bit higher ahead of the front on Sunday. That might be too high, but look at this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're talking dew points maybe in the 40s and 50s. And I'll get out of the way, and you can see that is our comfortable range. Certainly absolutely delightful for this time of year. By late August standards, early September, you don't often get dew points that low. The other part of this, there's not a lot of moisture. Because you're getting rid of the high dew point air, you're actually going to reduce the chance of heavy rain for our region for a while. So these cold fronts, they bring comfortable air, but they do another thing. They keep tropical systems away. So we get the added bonus of cooler air, drier conditions, and no tropical systems. Look at that pattern of cooler air below normal for this time of year. And normal, by the way, is 87 degrees and 67. So below those for most of the end of next week into Labor Day weekend. Yes, Labor Day weekend coming up next weekend. So below normal temperatures. Lots of questions about how cool August has been. It was really cool to start. We had a hot middle, and it's going to end cool. We don't know where we're going to end up, but right now, 57th coolest. So yeah, it's been cooler. It's the coolest August we've had since 2014, but certainly not one of the coolest. It's just much cooler than we've seen recently. So this weekend, both days look really nice. Though Saturday certainly will have more clouds. You're looking at temperatures probably in the upper 70s to low 80s, maybe more low to mid 80s and possibly 87 or so for a high temperature on Sunday. That's because we're going to see a lot more sunshine ahead of that cold front, which will be sweeping in from the north and west. That cold front comes down here, compresses the air and heats things up just a little bit. We'll start with the 7-day forecast first. I'll move my table out of the way and my laptop so you can see the days of the weekend there. Temperatures on Saturday, low 80s, 87 on Sunday. Charlotte FC is home. Monday, back to school for CMS. Typically really hot for the first day. This will be tolerable, but the rest of the week looks great with temperatures in the low 80s. And what I want to turn your attention to are those morning lows. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they get cooler and cooler and possibly in the upper 50s by the end of the week.